When people think, a lot of people think of herbal medicine, they think of marijuana comes to mind right away. Is there a benefit to that now that a lot of states are using that for medicine,
And
medical purposes?
I guess 2 states just voted positively on it
Yeah, we're
yesterday.
shooting this the day after the election, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they approved it for recreational or just purely medical use.
Recreation in
Was it
Colorado and
was it
Washington.
unbelievable? Um, so the answer is yes. Is there medical benefit of cannabis? So the bottom line
Mhm.
answer is yes. Now, 10 years ago, a lot of folks, especially in California, would ask me to do a radio or segment on their stations, and they would say, and we're also going to have a medical cannabis person on as well. And I'd say, you know what? No, thank you. It's not my drug of choice. I did my own smoking in high school, but I was done before I was out of high school, went into the Army and never went back, and never did drugs after that. But I had my experience with cannabis, and I think it should be legal. Personal feeling is that it should be legalized in the same way that alcohol and cigarettes are. Both of those of which we know are highly detrimental to health. Cannabis has a tremendous safety record with regards to sickness and fatalities and lung cancer and things like that. So that's my political position on it. But we were actually hired, commissioned by the Americans for Safe Access, which is one of the primary consumer advocacy groups for medical use of cannabis, and to do a monograph on cannabis. And for years I would say, no, I don't want to mix those two conversations. And then finally my medical director, who at the time was at Yale, she comes to me and says, have you ever thought about doing a monograph on cannabis? I said, well, people have kind of tried to push me in that direction in the past, and I've never gone that way because I didn't want to cloud those two conversations. We had enough trying to deal with the acceptance of herbal medicine, let alone wrapping it with cannabis herbal medicine. And I said, what's your interest? She said, well, I just have patients that they're not getting any benefit from the conventional drugs, even the cannabis derivatives like Marinol and Dronabinol or whatever the Abinols are, and but they get benefit from either smoking or from tinctures of cannabis, which is non-psychoactive. Most of the tinctures are non-psychoactive because you have to decarboxylize the THC acid into active THC for it to be psychoactive. So many of the preparations are not psychoactive if you make them right. And anyways, bottom line, I said, no, I don't really want to go there. Then she kind of pushed a little bit and said, I think you really should. So I then went to my board of directors and said, what do you think? You think we should do a Oh, actually, I remember what softened me on it. I saw Michael Pollan on, Dateline or Charlie Rose or whatever the program was, and talking about medical use of cannabis. And then the same week, somebody else was talking about the medical use of cannabis, and in very grounded ways, not the sensationalistic ways. And I'm thinking, well, maybe the societal opinion, just like with herbal medicine, has shifted from voodoo and wives' tales and witchcraft to, yeah, this is real. That maybe the political and social environment has shifted toward being more acceptable of something like cannabis. And I went to the board of directors and said, what do you think? And to a person, which also included, very conservative people that used to be in NCI and, leaders in the naturopathic community as far as trying to put that on a solid footing. And they're saying, yeah, we think you should do it. Nobody else could do it as well as AHP could do it. And, we trust that what comes out of that will be a real critical review of the literature. And so we're in the middle of that now. We're planning on coming out with that in the first quarter of 2013.